I call this the October 15th, 2019 meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners to order. Our invocation tonight will be given by Brother Eddie Graves. Brother Graves is a pastor at the Vantown Baptist Church. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Harold Canada. Harold's 11th grade homeschool student. He's also taking college classes at Motlow. He attends the Rock Family Worship Center. His hobbies include spending time with friends, playing video games. He's on the Chamber Youth Advisory Board and is a member of the National Society of Leadership and Success. He's the son of Catherine and James May. If you would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for our pledge.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. Appreciate this opportunity. We can come in this public forum in the government building and call upon the name of the Lord. What a blessing that is today. So let's bow for prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, as we come today, Lord, we thank you for this blessed day that you've given us and not let us take it lightly. We're also thankful for our Savior, give his life on the cross of Calvary, Lord, through forgiveness of sins, Lord, that we'd have eternal life, not only eternal life, but the abundant life that you promised us here on this earth. Lord, I would ask tonight, as business is conducted here, Lord, that you would touch each heart, each decision that is made tonight, God, that they would look to you first. We know that your will is the most important thing in our lives. Bless each one here that takes a part in this meeting tonight. Let the desires of their heart be met. Let all decisions be made that be pleasing unto you. Pray for our county, Lord, that everything that's said and done today will be for this county and the growth and upbuilding of it, Lord, for we enjoy it so much. We thank you and we love you. In Jesus' name we humbly pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Brother Eddie, and thank you, Harold. At this
I'd like a little more introduction on myself, though. You left stuff out on me.
I am sorry. Next time we'll make it a little longer. Thank you. If you would answer the roll call electronically at this time. Madam Clerk?
I have 19 commissioners present, 4 absent.
Okay. At this time, I'm proud to announce last time at our meeting, Diane Buchanan, one of our executive assistants in the office, had broken her ankle. Today was her first day back to work. She made it through. Dora and I are really gratified that she is back, and so and we appreciate all those that filled in. Some from Cole's office at times have when we needed them, and others, and we just appreciate if there's anything slow getting back to you that that was the reason. But we're glad that Diane's back in the office today, and so we're back at full staff at this time. We have been a request for an executive session by our county attorney, Ed Sims. At this time, this only lasts about 5 minutes. I would request the commissioners, if y'all would, go down the hall there and go in the grand jury room. I think it's the second door on the right. I will be joining you, but it will only be commissioners and myself at this meeting. If y'all go in, and we'll be back in just 1 minute. If you're just joining us, we are now back in general session for this October meeting of the Lincoln County Commission. We have had a executive meeting that was called by our county attorney, Ed Sims, and we're back in regular session, and the first item will be entertaining a motion for approval of last month's minutes of this meeting. Commissioner Bradford makes that. Commissioner Dangerfield seconds. Any questions or comments on last month's meeting? Those minutes. All those in favor of approval as they were printed, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. You should have received 9 monthly committee meeting minutes in your packet. Anybody got any questions on that? If not, next item, Dr. Bill Heath, our Lincoln County School Director, will give us the school building update.
Thank you, Mayor Newman. Glad to be here before you again. It's been a couple of months. If you drive by either site now, you'll see progress happening. Now, that's not to say there wasn't progress before, but a lot of that was paper and pencil progress. But you'll actually see dirt being moved and land being filled. At Blanche right now, I'd say we're on target on our timeline. If you drive by there, I think you'll see a lot of land has been moved around, and it's probably time we'll start seeing some structures and some other things happening there on that property. The timber is close to being moved and taken down, that we're going to be taking down and selling and so forth. So that's at Blanche. At the high school, a little bit behind schedule, I'd say, maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of small things that caused delays. The most recent one was I have a fire hydrant that had to be moved, and so we were sort of waiting on the fire marshal to approve everything there, and as I understand, that's happening within the last 48 hours, so hopefully we'll begin to see more movement there. But if you drive by either one of those sites, I think you'll see that there's progress being made, and I think the community at Blanche is really getting exciting, because I see people driving by there and driving on the property. Some of our people want to drive on the property every week to get an update. I'm talking about our principal and some other folks. So, if you guys have a chance, go by the sites and see what's happening there, and just want to give you that report. Any questions or anything?
Questions? Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Our next is Chamber of Commerce report. Mark Mitchell, our county representative to the board, will give that report at this time. Miss Carolyn, she was attending a regional meeting today, and so Mark is taking over for her.
Carolyn is hosting the 4th annual Region Mixer celebration for Motlow's 50th anniversary at the Moore County campus tonight. She's asked me to give the report for her. October is the start of our fiscal year for the Chamber. In the last year, we have celebrated with 26 businesses who have started a new business in the community or have expanded to larger locations. We're looking forward to our membership banquet and hope that you can attend on October the 28th at the Lincoln County High School. The keynote speaker that night will be Dr. Michael Torrance, President, Motlow State Community College. Our outgoing board members will be Deborah Smith, Motlow College, Dr. Bill Heath, Lincoln County Schools. Both will retain on our board as ex officios members, as well as Laura Monks and Regina Dotson. The newly elected board members coming on will be Jeannie Shutt Patrick of Palo Rock Farms and Josh Richardson, First National Bank. The awards be presented that night with the following categories. They were all nominated and voted on by our membership of the Chamber. Business of the Year for profit categories were Holt's IGA, Marvin's Family Restaurant, and Pizza Inn. The next category was Not-for-Profit Business Organization of the Year, Bevel Rotary Club, Junior House Child Advocacy Center, and the Fabulous 50 Show, whatever that is. Individuals for or official members category elected by non-elected officials were, in that category, are Paul Braden, Lincoln County Property Assessor, our own Don Counts, Pat Marsh, Tennessee State Representative. Our 16-member Student Advisory Board have toured the Lincoln County Jail in September, and in this month they will be touring the CNS plastic facilities. And just want to give you a reminder, the 27th annual Host Christmas Pass is coming November 8th through the 10th. The brochures are at the printers right now, but they are available on the website, which is hostofchristmaspass.com. A downtown food truck rally has been added on Sunday. Festivities in all the stores around the square will be open. And also a reminder, local government day for the Leadership Lincoln will be December the 12th. And the committee will be calling on you, the commissioners, to participate, as well as city and county government offices. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Y'all got any questions? We need something. Is humor and humility about the fabulous 50s is quite
that?
entertaining, Commissioner. Thank you. Good job. Next item, Lincoln County Health System update. Russ Spray, who was a former CEO, has returned as an interim CEO. So we're excited to hear from him tonight. Welcome, Russ.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. Special thanks also to the board members of the Lincoln County Health System that have given me the opportunity to return to the community and serve in this interim role. And as I think many of you know, Lincoln County is home for both my wife and me, so it's always held a near and dear place to us, and so it's good to be here. It's no secret for the people in this room, for the people in the community, that certainly difficult times for the health system, and I think that's again that is no secret. Some things that I thought you might like to know, because there's been a lot of discussion about the system. Bank account balances from June 30, 2019 through now are unchanged, up slightly. We still have work to do. An expense reduction plan that was discussed this past fiscal year. I can tell you that plan is in place. Many actions already taken, others in progress. Net savings of $2.5 million per year. But I think more important, though, is on the flip side of the expense reduction and expense management, we certainly have to be good stewards of the resources, but we also have to look for ways to grow and to create value and give people a reason to choose and seek health care services in the community. So there are some things that we're doing now in that regard. Some areas that we're focusing on presently, orthopedics, cardiology, additional cardiology coverage. We already have some coverage, and urology coverage, which we have not had for a number of years now. That's with respect to the acute care facility. With respect to our long-term care facility, Lincoln Donaldson, 168 beds. Our census, our residents in the facility today, 118. So we certainly have some opportunities there and work to be done, but work has been done. So, yeah. Been at this 41 years, which is neither here nor there, but it's never been easy, but it's never been more difficult than right now in healthcare. And anyone in this room in their own vocation could say the same thing, and I realize that, but that is true. But please know that every day good things happen Lincoln County Health System. Just today, in front page of the Elk Valley Times, three members of our EMS service, along with 3 firefighters of Fayetteville, were recognized with a Lifesaver Award, and paramedics Strickland, Brown, Marty Mathis, EMT, and then Durham were recognized for their efforts July the 2nd to save the life of a child, a local child. So there's nothing more worthy than those efforts. So and also this day, kind of anecdotally, I was stopped by Hardee's this morning for a quick bite, and you know, the great thing about a community such as ours, you always going to make a connection with someone. You run into people you know, and so first met, you know, Coach Max Raby, and there with him was a gentleman that talked about, he asked about the system. He saw the name badge, and he asked about the system, and he talked about how 10 years ago when he had a heart attack that the people at the hospital had saved his life. So those things happen on a regular basis. So 423 associates in our system, great people, truly with servants' hearts, doing good work. So we're grateful for them. So once word got out that I was returning to the hospital and to the system and to help for a while, I can tell you that not once did I hear anything but encouragement about it and expressing a need for a hospital in our community and for the well-being of our healthcare system. So I think that's most important, because the people are truly supportive of their system. Let me read, if you don't mind, the vision of Lincoln County Health System. It is, Lincoln County Health System will exceed our community's expectations by providing quality health care which is progressive, accessible, and customer-driven in an environment that is sensitive to people. As a system, we must live up to our vision, exceed the expectations of the community that we serve, the 33,000 or so people of this community that depend on us. And I truly believe in my heart that people, if given a choice about where they seek health care, they would prefer to seek health care locally if we give them a reason to stay and seek health care locally. So that's, there's much work to be done. We're committed to getting the job done. So we appreciate you, the members of the commission, Mayor, for your efforts, and look forward to working with you in the days, weeks, and months ahead. So thank you very much.
Any questions? Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Next item, our Budget Committee. Consideration for approval to re-elect Steve Graham, Grady Revis, Ricky Bryant, Kate Gewen, Doug Cunningham, Shirley Dangerfield, Randy Bradford, and Donnie Ogle to the Budget Committee. Those terms would expire a year from now in November 2021. What's the will of the commission? 2 years. I didn't do very well in math, and I noticed you always do if there's a figure, so thank you for that correction. 2 years would expire in 2 years, November of 2021. What's the will of the commission at this time? Got a commission, Commissioner Spray makes a motion and seconded by Commissioner Holland. Any other nominations to that committee? All those in favor of electing those 8 at this time, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item. Consideration for approval to reappoint Steve Gunthenberg, Randy Bradford, Donnie Ogle, Stephanie Britt, Mark Mitchell, and Tommy Holcomb to the Adult Oriented Establishment Control Board. Those terms would expire November 2023. How many years is that, Commissioner Jeans? 4 years. Thank you for the assistance. I appreciate it, really. What's the will of the commission on this committee? Okay, Commissioner Bryan makes a motion, seconded by Commissioner Dangerfield. All those in favor of approval of those, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next one, consideration for approval to reappoint Tori Young, David Sanders, Ben Brown to the Audit Committee. Terms to expire November 2023. What's the will? Commissioner Bradford makes that motion, seconded by Commissioner Hunter. Any additions to that? All in favor of approving those, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item, County Attorney Ed Sims.
This matter has to do with a rehearing request of Keith Bigham on his rezoning request. He made this request back in July, on our July 18, 2019 meeting. You have the staff report in your packet or on your computer. Does anybody want to review the staff report? Is everybody familiar with this? Just for the listening audience, it's a consideration for approval of rezoning request at Limestone Road and Wellesley Road from A1 Agricultural, Forestry, Rural Residential to A2 Suburban Residential. We received a letter from his attorney back in mid-September asking for this request, so that's why it was put back on the agenda. As you recall, this had the approval of the Planning Commission, it had staff approval. There was a public hearing on June the 18th, and as I understand it, there was no comment at the public hearing, but it failed at our July 18, 2019 meeting. So he's asking this body to give him a reconsideration of his rezoning request. If that is something that you are wanting to do, this could be put in place by a motion to rescind the previous action and approve his rezoning request.
Okay.
If you do vote no, I would ask you to state your reason why you're voting no.
Okay. At this time, I would entertain a motion to reconsider or to rescind that previous action. Commissioner Cunningham makes a motion. Do I have a second? Commissioner Thorpe makes that motion. Any discussions on rescinding that action? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Now the floor, if y'all see fit to change that zoning, I would entertain a motion to that effect from A1 to A2. Is that correct?
Move we approve the zoning change.
Okay. Commissioner Cunningham makes that motion. Do we have a second? Commissioner Jean makes the second. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor of this change, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? No. Okay, who was that? I need a reason for your no vote, sir. Okay. That's been noted. Was that the only no vote? Okay. Fire protection. Okay. Lack of fire protection. Was that the only two no votes? Have you recorded those, Madam Clerk? And the reason for? Okay. The zoning change has passed and those two negative votes have been noted for as cause. Next item. Planning and Zoning Director, Ms. Nancy Harris.
Good evening, everybody. We've got a full agenda, so I'll try to hit it quick. The first up file is file number 2019 R4. This is a rezoning request to rezone a small tract, 1.70 acres, from A1 to A2 to create two individual independent tracts for two existing dwellings. A2 is already directly across the street. Public hearing was held earlier this evening with no comments or concerns, and this received Planning Commission approval September 5th of this year.
Okay. What's the will of the commission on this item? Motion by Commissioner Bryant to approve. Commissioner Young seconds that. Any discussion or questions on this? Commissioner Hunter?
Take note that I'm going to abstain from this.
Okay, one abstention from Commissioner Hunter. Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor of this approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. That'll be 18 yes and one abstention. Okay, next item.
Secondly is a request to rezone, file numbers 2019 R5. This is a request to rezone 5.22 acres on Old Huntsville Road from A1 Agricultural Forestry Rural Residential to C1. The applicant currently operates a commercial business from their residence on Lincoln Road. The purpose is to separate the commercial use from the residential use. The location is directly opposite the car shop on Old Huntsville Road. This request was received approval on October 3rd from the Planning Commission. It is requested that this board call for a public hearing for the November 19th meeting, 5:30.
Is there objection if we've got 4 calls for public hearing? Is there an objection to taking those as a group? If not, continue with
Okay.
the other 3.
This next one is file number 2019 R6, request to rezone 0.31 acres on Huntsville Highway from A1 Agriculture Forestry Rural Residential to C1 General Commercial. This is located on the, let me get my bearings, southwest corner of Lincoln and Huntsville Highway. This received Planning Commission approval October 3rd, also to call for a public hearing for the November 19th meeting. Next is file number 2019 R7. This is also a request to rezone 0.82 acres from A1 Agriculture Forestry Rural Residential to C1 General Commercial for a proposed veterinarian clinic. And this is located, sorry, I didn't give you the address. This is located at 3080 Huntsville Highway. This received Planning Commission approval also October 3rd. Request is to call for public hearing November 19th at 5:30. And I think that was the last.
There's one other public hearing, the very last
Oh,
one.
the last one, gotcha. Sorry. This is a request to call for public hearing for approval of a private road to be named Old Chicken Creek Lane in Frank Ewing, which is off of Chicken Creek Road. September, do you want me to go through the history on this, Mayor?
Does anyone want to know the history, or are you okay?
Do the history at the public hearing?
I think we're okay
Okay.
without.
And to call for public hearing November
Okay.
19th.
So we have 4 calls for public hearing. Number 2 item up there, 3 and 4, and then we drop down to the bottom. What's the will of the commission on call for public hearing on these 4 items? Commissioner Douglas makes a motion. Commissioner Bradford seconds it. Any questions or comments on the call for public hearing on these 4 items? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Miss Nancy?
This is file number ZR 2019-5. This is a request to amend the A1 zoning district to include tiny homes as a permitted use. Public hearing was held earlier this evening with no comments. This received public or Planning Commission approval September 5th, 2019. Do you want me to read the staff report, or have y'all?
Y'all okay
Already
without
have
it?
any
You need, got questions about the tiny homes on those zonings? What's the what? Commissioner Bryant makes a motion approved. Commissioner Douglas seconds it. Any questions? All in favor of approval of that change, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Miss Nancy.
This is file number ZR 2019-6. This is a request to amend the A1 zoning district to remove conflicting information regarding agricultural lands that are 15 acres or greater. In 2 different sections of the zoning resolution, one says that it is permitted just as it is, as long as it's 15 acres or greater. You can have a total of 3 residences on that same property. In another section of the book, it says that it requires special exception approval. So TCA supports agricultural use predominantly. A lot of things that are regulated by zoning, agricultural lands are exempt from. So this is housekeeping to remove the special exception requirement of anything over 15 acres or greater to allow the 3 residences as
What's the-
permitted use.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Jean makes a motion to approve. Commissioner Bryant seconds it. Any questions? Everybody understand this one? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Miss Nancy.
And the last one is file number ZR 2019-7. This is a request to amend the A2 zoning district to also remove conflicting information regarding setbacks of an accessory structure. In one area, it lists the setback as 5 feet from the rear and side property line, and in another section of the same zoning resolution, it says 15 feet. I'm thinking it's a clerical error, but it needs to be cleaned up. So the request is to keep it at 5 feet. Public hearing was held earlier, no comments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Douglas makes a motion, seconded by Commissioner Hunter. Any questions on this item? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
That's it, thank you.
Okay. One correction in what I said a while ago. We have 20 people voting, so the correct announcement should have been, how many? 4 and 24 it, and 2, that was on the one where we, oh, okay, and 1, I'm sorry, it was the abstention. Okay, 24.
19 ayes, 1 abstention.
Okay, all right, okay. 19 ayes, 1 abstention. Okay, thank you. Next item, Budget Committee report. Commissioner Ogle had surgery today and is doing fine. So Cole Bradford, our finance director, will be our acting secretary tonight. Cole?
Okay. And I'm going to try to be less entertaining. I realized from several that I was breathing heavily into the microphone last time I got to do this, so I'm going to try to do better, and somebody give me a kick or a look if not. So. The Budget Committee of the County Legislative Body of Lincoln County, Tennessee met pursuant to due notice in the courthouse basement conference room on October 1st, 2019 at 6 p.m. All members were present. Others present were County Mayor Bill Newman, Finance Director Cole Bradford, County Attorney Ed Sims, CEC Engineer Kevin Wolf, Register of Deeds Randy Delap, Fire EMA Director Doug Campbell, Agricultural Extension Officer David Qualls, Commissioner Ronald Jean, IDB Director Elaine Middleton, Commissioner Charles Hunter, Commissioner Mark Mitchell, Lieutenant Jeff Bradford, Commissioner David Sanders, and Jenny Schochner. Is that right? Okay. Item 1, Law Enforcement Committee Chairman Guin presented the attached recommendation from Sheriff Blackwelder and the Law Enforcement Committee. Motion by Commissioner Guin, seconded by Commissioner Bradford, and passed unanimously to concur with the Law Enforcement Committee's recommendation and recommend approval of the attached request to change 1 correctional officer's position to a correction officer corporal position.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Mitchell makes a motion. Commissioner Guin seconds it. Any questions, comments? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
Item 2, IDB Director Middleton presented the attached IDB Board recommendation for a proposed pilot for Project 2019-07. Motion by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Dangerfield, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached resolution.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Motion approved.
Commissioner Jean makes a motion, seconded by Commissioner Brown. All those in favor of this, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item 3, Solid Waste Committee Chairman Cunningham presented the attached recommendation from the Solid Waste Committee. Motion by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Ogle, and passed unanimously to concur with CEC engineer Kevin Wolf's recommendation and the Solid Waste Committee's recommendation to terminate the current old landfill grant contract by October 17th, 2019, in order to be eligible to apply for a new grant in the spring of 2020 if deemed in the best interest of the county.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Revis makes a motion, second by Commissioner Dangerfield. Any questions on this item? All in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item 4, County Building Maintenance Director position. For the last 10 years, Register of Deeds DLAP has managed all aspects of building maintenance for the courthouse. Ag Extension Officer Qualls has managed all aspects of building maintenance for the Ralph Hastings building for over 10 years. Although this task was not a requirement of their jobs, both willingly and proudly serve the county in this area and do an excellent job. However, over time, this work has increased to the point where much of their time is spent dealing with building maintenance and less time on their primary job responsibilities. Mayor Newman and Finance Director Bradford assist when needed for these two buildings and also manage building maintenance for the USDA building and the Health Department building. The total square footage of these buildings is approximately 60,000. Effective January 1st, 2020, Register of Deeds DLAP will no longer be serving in this role, and Ag Extension Officer Qualls has indicated a need for a county maintenance position for years. Motion by Commissioner Ogle, seconded by Commissioner Bryant, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of a county building maintenance director position and refer this item to the Financial Management Committee for a recommendation concerning all the necessary details, which will be presented to the Budget Committee and Commission at a later date. Note, this position won't be filled until a recommendation concerning the specifics is presented and approved by the Financial Management Committee, Budget Committee, and Commission.
Move to concur.
Commissioner Bryant makes the motion, seconded by Commissioner Douglas. Any questions on this item? That committee did meet this afternoon, and there will be proposals coming out from it that will be at the budget meeting at November, and it will come before the full commission in November. So that meeting has been accomplished. All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. No. One, Commissioner Thorpe votes no. Any other abstentions or no votes? Yes, sir. No vote. No vote. Anybody else wanting to vote no on this item? Commissioner Sanders, Commissioner Thorpe votes no. Everyone else votes yes. It passes. Next item.
Item 5, Finance Director Bradford presented the following items. USDA proposal from Cox, Binkley, Jones, and Morris Architects to perform all necessary work to submit a proposal on the USDA lease by December 31st, 2019, not to exceed $5,000. Motion by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Bryan, and passed unanimously to recommend approval and increase 101-51-800-304 by $5,000 and decrease 101-39,000 by $5,000.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Make a motion approved.
Commissioner Bradford makes a motion. Commissioner Dangerfield seconds. Any questions on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item B, State Form CT-0253 for ambulance lease. Motion by Commissioner Dangerfield, seconded by Commissioner Bradford, and passed unanimously to acknowledge receipt of the attached State Form CT-0253.
Entertain a motion to that effect that you receive those. Commissioner Thorpe makes the motion. Commissioner Holland seconds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
C, 101 General Fund Budget Amendments. Motion by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Revis, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached 101 General Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item?
Make motion approved.
Commissioner Bradford makes a motion. Second by Commissioner Douglas. All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item D, 122 Sheriff's Drug Fund Budget Amendments. Motion by Commissioner Guin, seconded by Commissioner Revis, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached 122 Sheriff's Drug Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Mitchell makes a motion, Commissioner Ewan seconds it. Any questions on this item? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item E, 141 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendments. Motion by Commissioner Bradford, seconded by Commissioner Revis, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached 141 General Purpose School Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission on this item? Commissioner Hunter makes a motion for approval, seconded by Commissioner Bradford. I'll get you next time, Commissioner Revis. Thank you. Any questions on the item? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved.
Item F, 143 Centralized Cafeteria Fund Budget Amendments. Motion by Commissioner Revis, seconded by Commissioner Bradford, and passed unanimously to recommend approval of the attached 143 Centralized Cafeteria Fund Budget Amendments.
What's the will of the commission at this time? Commissioner Revis, would you like to make that motion for approval since you did in the Budget Committee? I appreciate it. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Bryant makes a second. Any questions on this item? All those in favor of approval, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. Next item.
Item G, Financial Reports. Motion by Commissioner Cunningham, seconded by Commissioner Bryant, and passed unanimously to acknowledge receipt of the attached financial reports.
Would entertain a motion acknowledging the receipt of those at this time. Commissioner Bradford, you make a motion. Commissioner Douglas seconds it. All those in favor showing receipt of those, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved receipt of those. Next item.
And the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you. Next item. Notary Publics, Madam Clerk.
Have Keith White by Commissioner Spray, Connie Ross by Commissioner Martinez, Adrian H. Gay by Commissioner Thorpe, Melissa Massey by Commissioner Thorpe, Allison Campbell by Commissioner Mitchell, Paul Dempsey by Commissioner Ogle. Then I have Charles Connor Dempsey and then Connor Dempsey by two different commissioners. Not sure if they were the same person. One was by Commissioner Brown, the other by Commissioner Mitchell. I don't know if they're the same person.
Are they, do y'all know if that's the same person?
Okay, I got it then. Heath Tate
Okay.
by Brown.
So we said it's two people on Connor Dempsey.
Is it two separate people on Connor Dempsey?
Okay. All right. Any other additions? Entertain a motion to approve that list with the additions. Commissioner Bryant makes a motion. Need a second. Commissioner Revis seconds it. All those in favor of approval of that list with the additions, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Unanimously approved. I now declare the commission is open for new business. Yes, sir. Commissioner Bryant's recognized.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Nothing like a constituent give you a few calls to get you to. Right, Joe? Thank you. Nothing like, I'll start over, nothing like a few calls or like 100 calls from your constituents to get you to thinking about things and making sure things were done correctly and right. And got a couple of observations on a couple of items that Commission took action on, or one in particular. We'll talk a little bit about August the 20th, 2019. And in new business at that particular meeting, we had a motion to reconsider property maintenance. And that motion passed, I think, 16-7 with 23 present. Pretty sure that passed. That particular night, I was actually here, and I think I discussed that a lot. And I kept thinking there's something I'm missing. And because I used to know a lot of things about parliamentary procedure, but when you don't do it for a while, you lose those things. So after I got all these calls, I kind of got to study it. I mean, everywhere I've been, we've talked about this, and you can't go to the store without talking about it. Actually, the motion to reconsider is a very, very painful motion to make. It must be done by somebody on the prevailing side, which it was, that being a no. It also must be done in the same meeting or a meeting that is not interrupted by an intervening day, which means we could have a meeting on Monday, and if that meeting went to Friday, we could vote on it all week. We could move to reconsider all week, but we can't take off Saturday and Sunday and do it again on Monday. So I would take the position that that motion to reconsider does not exist because it was improperly made. I have another item, but I'll let you speak to this one, Mr. Chairman.
Well, we'll take it under advisement because apparently there's 100 people in your district that knows a lot more than I do about parliamentary procedure.
I actually looked it up. I did. I think that's going to be correct. And, you know, we talk a lot about here about getting a lot of calls, and I don't normally get a lot of calls.
I was the one that made
but
the call. If there's a mistake, I accept it.
I understand, and I'm just pointing that out. The second thing is that I've got a lot of calls about this. Don't know that I've got 100, but I've got a lot of calls. And it was at our last meeting, and that I missed. I was not here. I was not in attendance, and should have probably been. Had some things I needed to do. But that other thing was the adoption of the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code. And it was adopted, I think, September the 17th, 2019. I don't need any action on this one, don't even need any advisement. I just want to give some notice that I intend next month to try to rescind that motion. And I need to give notice of that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Commissioner Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to notify the public as of November the 1st, we will have a different dead stock removal provider. Appertain will no longer be doing this. A new company called All Around Underground is going to be in charge of that. Their phone number, this is as of November the 1st, if you have a dead cow or something and it needs to be picked up, you need to call area code 931-306-2014. And I'm sure passed out to all the commissioners, and I'm sure the mayor keeps that number on the Rolodex at his office. So just making the public aware, Mr. Chairman.
Any other new business? Commissioner Thorpe.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but Commissioner Bryant got me riled up a little. I've had quite a few people stop me and call me as well, and some of the comments are, "Is everybody up there going crazy?" I said, "Well, no, not everybody, but I mean, people are fired up about this property maintenance thing, the ones in my district." And I'll tell you, I talked to a guy about a year and a half ago. I won't name his name, and I won't name anybody's name, but he said somebody from the zoning office came up to him and said, "I'm coming after you, and you're going to clean up your property, and you're going to do it because I said so." And I'm not going to tell him who it was, but this was a year and a half ago. And I said, they don't have authority to do that, but now they do. So they will be coming after you. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Now, I don't think we had the person that's enforcing it wasn't even a hiree a year ago.
I didn't say who it was. But
okay, well,
it was not the person enforcing it.
Okay, all righty. Any other new business? Motion been made to adjourn, and there's been properly seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.